Hey guys, welcome to a new video about what's ahead. And yes, today is the 3rd of August 2024, and the current time is 10:56 a.m. IST or 1:26 a.m. Eastern time, right? So some liquidation has happened, from the charts. As what I'm seeing is some liquidation has happened, and clearly inventory is trapped above the 5440 region, and we have created another supply gap. So we did had a gap here which was filled. I believe this was the 1st of August when the Fed announcement came in of no change of interest rate and nice liquidation. And now what happened on Friday is seeing some sort of continuation lower, right? So I'll just zoom in, and a lot of inventory is trapped, or we can say there is supply over it, right? So where is that supply? That supply is primarily which is about the 5430 level. So if you look from the context perspective, what's happening continuously is this was the overall previous cost basis. This is from where we had a gap up, another cost basis, and price moved back to this particular cost basis, and then we had distribution higher. So this was where the area where a lot of accumulation of inventory has happened. Now, what has happened is the inventory is now getting accumulated below the previous area where the markup started. Okay. So at the moment, there are supply trapped, or there is supply present above the 5440 level in form of the trap buyers, right? This gap has basically induced a lot of pain. So people who were long above the 5440 level are basically the trap buyers, and they are the ones who were basically duped out. And coming to next week's, what am I looking at is, first of all, we have sort of a balancing between the 340 to 380 level, right? So we have a balancing here. And what I'll be looking for is, do I get a further continuation lower? Because there is another gap which is in the month of May around the 50 to 40 level. So I am looking for further continuation level. That's the first auction path. Or do I see this particular gap getting filled? Because this is where I am looking for responsive selling sellers to step in and take the auction lower. Failure for price to move lower and filling of this particular gap in the overnight auction is getting me hints, or is going to give me hints that this is accumulation of inventory, and then we might look for further distribution of inventory higher towards this areas where, because there is sellers present around the single print. So we have got one, two, three, four single print zones, right? So 5600 is the overall line in sand. But Monday when the overnight, or Sunday when the overnight session happens, I will be looking to see first is, does this gap get filled? Once the gap is filled, I am looking for some responsive selling, and lack of responsive selling will give a clue, which I'll be observing on the 1 minute chart, right? Now, why am I saying that, right? So again, this is the same chart with a volume profile, and I'm seeing a cost basis, around this zone, as this is where once the liquidation started, this is where the liquidation has stopped, and a sort of sideways action or balancing has been created, right? So 5356, 5383, and 5411, right? So these are the three levels which I'm observing the reaction of the price. This is again a continuous contract on a 30-minute chart. But these are the primary areas where I'm observing and looking for the order flow to come in. Do they come in strong, or do they come in weak? Because accumulation, I'm seeing the inventory has accumulated, below, and it has spent less time below the 56 level, right? So if the overnight session is developing above the close, how much time does it spend below this particular level, right? So that is one of the areas, which I'll be observing, and I'll also looking at the time spent and where it gets accepts and where it gets reject, right? So yeah, so that's the overall trade plan which I'm looking and see, do we get the gap getting filled, or do we get further continuation lower? Because there are two gaps, one is around 240 and one is around 180, right? So yeah, and if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can check the description link below where you can connect with me directly on Telegram. Yeah. With that, thank you, and I'll see you again next week with a new video. Yeah. Take care. Bye for now.